Hi guys! Trying something a little different today. I'd like to start a new series based around community discussion, topics beyond simply right or wrong answers. So feel free to share your thoughts, disagree with me, and all that fun stuff in the comments. As civil as possible, please. Also, let me know if you have other topics that you would like me to discuss in future videos. Alrighty, onto the video. Calliope mori, kobo kanaeru, kyo kaneko scarla yonoguni. What is the point of similarity between these corpo Vtubers? It's that they all have Japanese-inspired names. Of course, this doesn't mean that the person behind the screen is necessarily of Japanese descent or that they can speak Japanese, or that their model is even representative of Japanese people at all. So why do they have Japanese names? The simple answer is that the companies that they work for are Japanese, based in Japan, so of course the names that might already be preset for the talents are Japanese. But what about the indie scene? The indie side of the VTubing community is vastly different from the corporate side. Hundreds of thousands of everyday people with a passion for streaming and content creation hop into the world of moving avatars and unique live entertainment. Since it's so far removed, why does the naming system that corpo Vtubers use continue to hold a presence? It almost seems like 70% of all indie Vtubers have some sort of Japanese-inspired name, even if their content or model are in no way inspired by Japan. And here I ask, why? Hey, hold on. Okay, hold on. Hi, this is Future Licorice speaking. I actually went ahead and browsed Twitter on a side account not in the VTuber sphere and just scrolled, choosing the first indie VTubers to show up and just clicking on the recommended accounts Twitter automatically suggests in your profile. And I timed myself to find as many names as I could within 1 hour. I've counted and it seems like 56% are actually VTubers with Japanese names, while 36 are Western names. Okay, back to past me. Like I said before, this is not a thesis video where I give you an exact reason. I actually hope this will lead to a productive discussion on why this has been a constant thing within the indie community. I want to hear your opinions on this or if I'm just overthinking trends. My main questions are, why does it have to be Japanese, and does it help grow a brand? At this point, you're probably thinking, hey you hypocrite, your name is Licorice Banashi. Banashi is Japanese. And you're right, I did create my VTuber lore based on Japanese mythology, and that's because I'm Japanese. My brand and content are Japanese. But of course, having these exact qualifications is not required to take on a Japanese name, and I'm not saying that it's wrong to do so if you aren't in some way affiliated with Japan. From my understanding, it's that almost the entire VTubing community enjoys Japanese pop culture, be it anime or manga, or just the cute aesthetic vibe of it, and that's fine. VTubing as a genre began in Japan, so it only makes sense that creators continue to use Japanese-inspired names and lore. But honestly, why would you do that? Unless you are a cultureless American, which I am, so I can say that, I'm just so confused on why you would choose to promote and brand yourself as Japanese when you exist in a diverse and underrepresented culture in the community. I've seen dozens of creators who have various countries' flags in their bios on Twitter, countries with cultures and languages and motifs that I have never seen come out into the community, and I feel like that is a completely missed opportunity. I know not everyone is deeply rooted in their culture, but there's a lot of people that have a lot of pride in where they grew up, and I think it would be an amazing addition to the VTuber community if your model or lore chose to represent that pride. Not to mention, seeing how popular corpo VTubers who speak multiple languages are, expressing your heritage may be a very lucrative move. Perhaps this is the anthropology degree speaking, but I personally have a blast learning about other cultures that don't often appear in the English-speaking majority of the internet. When I see VTubers with models that showcase where they're from, I get insanely happy for them, and I tend to click on their content more often than the standard cute Japanese-esque anime girl. I think what makes me genuinely enjoy creators that I see on my Twitter feed is when they express their cultural heritage. For example, you can find a lot of Black Vtubers during Black History Month showcasing their traditional clothes and culture with fan art and models. And I'm not gonna lie, some of the best model designs I've seen have come from the Black community representing their culture. We've seen with Mr. Rias, Alex Sirios, and Ike Eveland that having a full Western name fits not only their brand but also doesn't lose them any potential clout from having a Japanese name. Of course, these are corpos, so let's also look at some indies. Girl DM, Buff Pup, Porcelain Maid, Aethel, and Merryweather are also extremely popular content creators that don't really use Japanese as part of their brands, even if some of them can actually speak the language. So why is there a rush to slap on some fake Japanese sounding name that makes it that much harder for people to pronounce and remember you by? Because after all, if your viewers aren't knowledgeable in Japanese, a lot of these names start blending together.
Okay, let's check out Sakura. Sakura?
Featuring Prism Project's Yuro Rikudo, Naki Kamazuki, and Sada Nagare, along with Kana Tamachi, Aetheria's Omiya Emma.
Today we check in with Production Kawaii's Ocean Otaishi.
I know some languages that aren't well known in the English-speaking community can also be hard to pronounce and read, but I personally don't see that as a disadvantage at all. You will stand out and be more memorable to even passerbys. If you have a culturally neutral model and brand but have a Japanese name that could almost seem out of place, I would honestly consider the possibility of rebranding to a different name that suits who you are, what languages you speak, or something that makes you unique. Would it be helpful to building a brand? I would say yeah, probably. Let's say you do handcam cooking streams, but what makes you different from other handcam streamers is that you focus on cooking Filipino dishes and explain how it came about, when these dishes are eaten, fond memories of making it with family, and so on. You're not just another giri knockoff, you're the cozy Filipino home cook that shares interesting recipes and story times. If you have this brand, why would you choose a Japanese name? Now, there might be the counter-argument that designing or naming your Vtuber persona using culturally significant themes could open you up to unwarranted racism and microaggressions. I also understand that if you are a minority in real life that often faces racism, you would want to distance yourself from that in your content creation journey. In those cases, I completely understand the motivation to blend in and be culturally ambiguous. I wouldn't blame anyone using VTubing as an escape from racism or real-life problems. To those who would be interested in breaking out of the restrictions the VTubing community has sort of set itself into, I would love to see and support hijabi VTubers or Australian Aboriginal VTubers or Kazakh VTubers that embrace their cultures in their brands. My biggest inspiration to start making the content that I do is a TikToker named Aslan Pahari. If you know his content, you know that he is very proud and open about his roots in Pakistan. I went from knowing nothing about Pakistan to eventually wanting to visit and learn more about its history and culture. It's absolutely astonishing what the power of representation can do to motivate people to embrace other cultures. Not even 10 years ago, anime wasn't mainstream. K-pop wasn't mainstream. I was into both during my elementary and middle school years, and I was ostracized and bullied for it. It only became popular and more accepted because more and more people started watching content that was translated into English, made visible to them in the Western market. So what I'm trying to say is, really the only way to become accepted worldwide is to make yourself visible worldwide. I think if you choose to venture down that path, it could be an eye-opening experience for not only yourself, but for others as well. Plus, honestly, having a culturally significant name and model that people make fun of or mispronounce intentionally makes an ass out of them, not you. Along with that, before anyone tries to claim that using Japanese-inspired names or avatars is cultural appropriation, I would like to nip that in the bud. I've lived here long enough, heard enough Japanese voices, talked to professors and teachers about it, and no, it's not culture appropriation. In fact, Japan encourages foreigners to come and experience their culture and hope that they can take an interest in it and spread awareness to other parts of the world. Japan has honestly been so welcoming to me and my foreign friends who live here, inviting us to participate in local festivals, join culture clubs like Kyudo and tea ceremony, wear kimono while touring heritage sites, and so on. As long as you don't actively try to bastardize their culture and be offensive in any sort of political way with it, I think it's fine to brand yourself as a kitsune or ninja or something like that. Perhaps I've strayed on sort of a tangent from the naming system itself, but I believe the model, brand, name, and person behind the screen all tie together. You don't have to brand yourself as Japanese to get more eyes on your content. I actually believe the opposite. Indies don't have to follow corporate VTubing trends at all. That's why you're indie. Don't limit yourself to what works. Try something new, unique. Be the best version of yourself that represents all you are proud of. What it all boils down to in the end is an outlet for self-expression. If you don't resonate with Japan, you don't have to be a Sakura Hinamatsuri or something like that. If you don't want to even be a human character, be it furry, cartoon clown from the 1900s, or blob VTuber, do what fits your interest and brand best. If that's Japanese, then sure, go for it. If it doesn't have to be Japanese, then don't feel obligated to brand as such. That's all I kind of have to say on the subject, but I'll end it off with this. What do you guys think? Are you, as viewers, more interested in English VTubers using Japanese names over Western names? What about names in other languages? Is this something people should think about before joining the VTuber community? Or am I just gatekeeping Japan? I don't know. Let me know.